Hey Spoonies, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do a update on how I've been doing and how everything's been going since I started TPN, and it's been about 2 weeks now. So definitely wanted to do a 2-week post TPN start update. Things have actually been going pretty decent as far as like hooking up to the TPN and learning basically, blood sugar and all that kind of stuff. It's really easy to set up the TPN. It's not anything that's hard and difficult. Just have to really watch for cleanliness and disinfecting and stuff like that. But other than that, it's really easy to put together. It's not anything complicated. I still do my finger pricks every 6 hours and then 60 minutes after I disconnect from TPN. So that's around like 3 to 4 times a day. We are having an issue ordering more of the glucose strips because my doctors wrote the script to the pharmacy stating I only do it 2 times a day, but what they told me and what my nurse told me, I have to do it every 6 hours and 60 minutes after I disconnect. So there's a little bit of miscommunication. I have to figure that out because I'm out of testing strips, so I have no idea what my blood sugar is. And then I also have to measure everything that I drink and everything that I pee out. So I had to order those measuring cups online that sit inside the toilet, and I have to literally, the time and everything like that, it all has to be written down, and then I have to turn that in on my doctor's appointment. I have a doctor's appointment on the 8th with my stomach doctor, critical care doctor, and then I will discuss with her basically, I guess everything that's been, how everything's been going and whatnot, and go over all of my labs and stuff. I have a feeling I'm not going to be on it too much longer. It's just a feeling that I have. I'm praying that I'm not. It just really depends upon where they want me to be and where I'm at. So I'm not really sure where that is right now. I need to ask too how much weight they need me to gain, what my prealbumin needs to be, and stuff like that. So once I figure that out, then I'll have like a better definitive, like I need to be here in order to get off of TPN. I'm hoping it's only like a month long, but I don't really know at this point. With the input and output, it's been kind of like frustrating, I guess, because it's like every time I have to use the restroom, and it's a lot of work, like constantly monitoring everything. It's just a lot of work. That has been going well. Like the whole starting the TPN has been going well. I haven't had any reactions. I haven't felt like I have any symptoms of the refeeding syndrome. My drip, like the rate that I'm going at, it's a pretty slow rate, and I was at 20 hours, which my nurse and the infusion company both said that they don't have anybody on 20 hours. Like, it's not really a common thing to have someone on a 20-hour drip, I guess, or, flow of TPN. So they went ahead and they messaged my doctor and kind of like begged her to please drop it down some so I could be off of it a little bit and have some time to be disconnected, because I was only disconnecting for 4 hours every single day, and that's really not a whole lot of time, and that backpack gets really heavy. So my doctor messaged back and said that they can lower the rate, or they can lower the time down to 18 hours. So it's only 2 hours, but that 2 hours makes a difference to me. So I've been enjoying, that started just a couple of days ago, so I've definitely been enjoying having the extra time off. It's kind of like thrown me off because I'm used to like disconnecting and then not too long after, oh my god, I gotta hurry up and reconnect. But the extra 2 hours really does make a difference, because then I'm like, wow, like I'm still disconnected, like this is nice. So there's that. We are trying to aim for lower, so maybe next week I'll get it lower. Yeah, this coming week, because today's Friday, and it makes 2 weeks exactly. So maybe next week, depending upon my labs and stuff like that, they'll lower even more. I'm not sure. But according to my infusion company who makes my TPN, they said that my TPN, like everything that they've been putting in it, has not changed. My doctor never changed anything as far as the makeup of my TPN. So that's good. That means that what they're doing is satisfactory. They're okay with what's going on. My blood work can't be that bad. And then I still, every now and then, I've only done it a couple times, have I infused a bag of saline, and that's because I feel dehydrated. I can tell that my POTS has been trying to kind of kick back up and, you know, start its crap again, and I can feel the lack of the saline. I am getting fluids through here and electrolytes and everything like that, but for some reason I just don't think that the amount of fluids is enough. The lipids to me is not really fluid. It is a liquid, but it's more so fat. It's not everything that's in a bag of TPN. So I'm doing lipids 3 days a week still, and I do TPN the other days, the other 4 days. So basically, like, the TPN itself is going good. A lot of people have been asking where I've been, why I haven't been posting much on social media, and stuff like that. And that's where, like, how I'm feeling comes in. I'm gonna be completely truthful and honest, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything because I don't want to cover up, you know, the reality of living with something like this, because there's no need to sugarcoat it. Like, I'm gonna be honest. So basically, the TPN, like, I'm trying to figure out how to, like, say this. As far as being tired goes, I'm still completely and totally exhausted. It's to the point where if I sit down for maybe like a half an hour to an hour, maybe even 15-20 minutes, just depends upon the day, I could probably fall asleep. And I get a full night's sleep, basically. So I don't know if everything is mentally just exhausting me. Having to keep up with everything is just exhausting. Think about it, I have to be attached to the backpack for 18 hours every single day, disconnect, flush, and then a couple hours later, reconnect, go through the whole sanitization process and hooking up to the TPN, which mentally is exhausting because if you think about it, like, you don't get to eat. Like, this is the reality. That's my food in there. And when your body craves actual food and, like, your body wants actual food, it's kind of a mental thing, to be honest with you. And then having to constantly check the time for finger pricking, for glucose check, and monitoring input and output and all that kind of stuff. Like, it all adds up and it becomes extremely, extremely stressful. Then there are times where I feel hungry, and I've been trying to figure out, like, a pattern as to when I feel that way, because a lot of people are like, oh, you shouldn't feel hungry on TPN, although there are tons of people who do. It's not as common, but it's not as usual to be hungry on TPN. Like, usually the body is satisfied because it's getting the calories that it needs, but it's not fulfilling to the stomach. So because the TPN is passing the stomach, it's going to the bloodstream. So basically, I think it's more of a mental thing. Like, when I'm cooking them food, I look at the food and all of a sudden my stomach starts growling and stuff like that. So around breakfast, lunch, and dinner, my stomach starts growling. And it's a temporary thing, and then it's fine. But it's still really, really hard to sit and make your family food and snacks and seeing them enjoying eating when you can't. Like, you can't have what they're eating. You can't have even the gluten-free version of what they're eating, and it's really hard. mentally it's extremely exhausting to sit there and watch your family, like, you don't realize it, but food is the center of life. Like, it is a social thing, it's an enjoyment. And when your whole family is enjoying the things that you have to cook but you can't touch it, it's really hard. It's very, very hard. And it's not because it's not gluten free, because I make plenty of gluten free stuff for them, but it's because I can't stomach it. My diet is the brat diet, which is the BRATT, not just the bananas, rice, applesauce, and toast. It's bananas, rice, applesauce, toast, and tea. But I can have plain white rice, white boiled potatoes with no skin, plain gluten-free pasta, plain gluten-free bread, Jello, popsicles, Powerade and Gatorade, which I was told by my nutritionist not to drink because of my stomach. The sugar can kind of upset it. Ensure Clear, which I haven't been able to find anywhere. Diluted apple juice, diluted cranberry juice, and water. That's basically about it. I, for a while, was eating and rice cereals. I was for a while eating the gluten-free white toast with jelly, because I can have jelly on it. I've had 2 servings of rice and the rice cereal, and a boiled white potato, and popsicles. And what I noticed is that I was doing well with it for a while till I was actually able to eat it, but then after so many days, all of a sudden it hit a block, and my stomach started hurting and cramping so badly, and I couldn't really, it was frustrating for me, because to me, being able to eat the very limited amount of menu that I can eat, I was able to eat that, and then all of a sudden it kind of hit a wall and I couldn't eat anymore. I still feel the feeling of hunger, just because I think it's a mental thing, but at the same time, it's like I feel like I have to nourish my body. They told me I don't have to eat if I can't, but I feel like I need to. I feel like it's something that I have to do, and I have to keep telling myself, you're on this because you can't. And it's hard for me to accept when I so badly just want to be normal and be back to where I was. It's a very mentally tiring thing, and I don't think unless you're going through it you can 100% understand, but it's really, really hard to basically, you're not starving yourself in that aspect, because you're still getting the nutrients through the TPN and the lipids, but mentally you're starving yourself because you can't eat. And I felt like, okay, I'm actually doing okay, I'm able to eat these things, and it's on the brat diet, and I'm sticking to the diet, but at the same time, it hurts so bad when you hit a rock and my stomach just starts cramping like crazy. And I feel nauseous, and I feel dizzy, and I feel cold and chills and everything like that. And my body's just telling me you can't eat anymore. And it's basically because all that food that I had been eating finally built up in my stomach, because it can't drain properly through the small intestine, and that's it. It's full. It physically can't take anymore. It can't digest anymore. So that recently happened, and it's been frustrating. So for the past 2 days, I've not eaten anything. I've been drinking my glutamate, which I put in diluted apple juice, and I put my vitamin D drops in there as well. And I'm never able to finish a whole thing. If I get almost there, but I just can't. My stomach ends up feeling too full and nauseous and stuff like that. So I get as much as I can in, and let that be enough. Then I drink ginger tea at nighttime sometimes, and I'll drink some of that, and then my stomach just can't handle anymore. So I'm trying, but it's hard. Even eating the popsicles was upsetting my stomach very, very badly. I don't know if it was the high amount of sugar in it or what it was, but I felt really sick. So I stopped eating the popsicles. So I went to the pina colada Slurpees, because that's clear, and there's no caffeine or anything in it, and I was doing okay for a little bit, and then my stomach started. So those are kind of like hit or miss. There's times where I'm fine with them and times where I'm not, but it's not solid. It's basically crushed ice with whatever it is that they put in there, and that has been back and forth basically, but I crave them the most. A lot of people said they don't get cravings off of TPN. That's true to a certain degree. I think everyone is different, to be honest with you. I think everybody is completely and totally different. I don't know if it's because I'm on such a slow flow of TPN that I'm not able to feel what they have felt, because a lot of people I know are on 12 and 15 hours, but I'm on 18 hours and it's pretty slow. So there's that. I just feel like it's never, I won't say it's never going to get better, but I just feel like it's such a long road, and I so badly want to enjoy with my family again, and it's really, really hard. It's depressing. Like, I can honestly say I'm probably depressed, because your life revolves around food, and I love to cook. I love, cooking for my family, and my body is so tired. I don't know if it's a mentally exhausted thing or if my body just hasn't adjusted to the TPN yet, but I'm tired. I'm beyond tired. Like, my eyes burn. I'm so tired. And I do take vitamin B12. I'm taking all of that, the sublinguals. So it's not that I'm not getting my vitamins. I'm getting plenty of vitamins. How well it's being absorbed, I'm not sure, but we'll find out when I go to the doctors. I think also because Taylor's been sick, I've been having to not only monitor my stuff and keep up with my medical stuff, but hers as well, because she's on the inhaler treatments every 4 hours, and then she's getting her antibiotics, and then I'm doing her humidifier in her room, and it's just monitoring temperatures and Tylenol and Motrin and out. Like, it's just, I'm so beyond overwhelmed. I am extremely, extremely overwhelmed. My mind is just ready to blow out. Like, I don't think I can handle much more. A lot of stuff just around here has been going wrong. Like, anything that could go wrong has been. And I'm so tired of it. Like, we as a family, we can't catch a break. Either it's someone getting sick, or there's a problem with prescriptions. CVS pharmacy by us, terrible. I don't recommend CVS pharmacy to anybody, especially the one by where we live. They are terrible. But dealing with prescriptions and insurance companies, and our tax return was lost or is lost, so we were counting on that the other day, and now we're working with the IRS and trying to get all that straightened out, because we know where it went, but it's basically floating in thin air. It's a long story. We have our trip coming up to Harry Potter World next weekend, and I'm super excited about that, but then you gotta worry about, disconnecting and infections, because I have to disconnect every time we go on a ride. And the good thing is we're going to use a wheelchair. It's just stressful. There's a bunch of stuff around here that's just breaking, and Willow's been super cranky, and Taylor doesn't listen, and Willow doesn't listen. I think everything is just building up on top of what I have to go through, and this TPN and what I'm going through is already so mentally exhausting that just everyday life stuff and everything going wrong is just breaking me. Like, it's breaking me. And then I think, I have a feeling I'm not going to be on this for a whole lot longer. Then I think, okay, now I still have to go through surgery. Like, I still have to have the GJ tube. And what does that mean? Like, how is that going to be? What is life going to be like then? And what kind of stress is that? I'm trying to take everything one day at a time. Like, I know I'm going to get through this. And yesterday I had the mindset, like, everything you can't eat. So stop trying to force yourself to eat the foods that are on your diet, and just accept what it is. Stop the eating, drink when you can, and when your body is able to eat again, it will. And you have to get through this in order to be able to eat again. But it's just so hard to completely 100% focus on that. And so that's why for like the past 2 days, I've actually been able to get myself to where, like, even when I do feel hungry, I'm like, no, because remember the pain that you go through when you do eat. And it doesn't help that the foods that I can eat on my diet are binding. They're supposed to help heal the digestive tract, but they are binding foods. It's basically the diet you are on after you have like a stomach bug or the flu or something like that, to kind of bind everything together. But I already have constipation issues very badly because it's blocked. It's blocked in there. So when I eat those things, it makes it worse. And my stomach gets so bloated and it hurts so bad because the food has nowhere to go. It's not being able to flow through the small intestine because it's blocked. It's crushed. So it's just all very frustrating, and I know that there is eventually a light at the end of the tunnel, but I'm so like mentally overwhelmed. And everyone kept saying, oh, you're going to feel so great on TPN, you're going to feel so great on TPN, and I haven't quite experienced that yet. I know that if it wasn't for the TPN, I probably would be in the hospital still, very, very sick. But at the same time, like, I don't feel like the sudden burst of energy that everyone was talking about. I don't feel like I don't have to eat. I don't feel that yet. And I don't know if that's because of the rate that I'm going at, or if it's just because my mind isn't there, or if the formula they made isn't correct for me. I don't know. When I go on the 8th, I will be talking to her about it. I also have an appointment on the 7th with my electrophysiologist, and the 8th I see my doctor. But I have a lot of questions for her, so I hope she's prepared for that. But yeah, I know I'm going to get through this. I know us as a family will get through it. I think just mentally I'm struggling more than anything, and it'll get better. So I'll go ahead and do another update after my doctor's appointment next week. And yeah, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below to stay up to date on all of the videos that I upload. And if you click the little bell next to it, you will also be notified every time I upload a video. Thanks.